anytime he was out of the range, he was getting tapped, right?
Sure.
Now, if he wants to smell something or I'll kind of let him go. And then I've also just like at the dog park. I haven't been using the collar as much.
Okay. Sure, for the behavior stuff.
Yeah, just because like when I first did it, I may have overdone it a little bit, and so he was kind of like not playing with dogs anymore. So now I pretty much kind of more when needed, I would say. But he's been, for the most part, he's been pretty good doing what I want. I don't have to tap him really that much. What I'm finding is like he's pretty good at, he like knows like as soon as he's out of the range, and we're kind of in this gray area where I'm like, I should turn, but like I kind of slow down and he kind of stops. But I think for the most part he's getting it, and it seems to be working well.
Okay. So for like the sniffing stuff, right?
Yeah.
So when it comes to the heel, because the heel is a very strict standard.
Okay.
And the reason why we would correct those things is he's not doing anything bad technically.
Right.
Right? Like he's not like biting a dog, or he's not biting a person or anything like that. He's not being aggressive, which is typically how people dictate behaviors.
Yeah.
Is to go like, well, the dog's not being aggressive. And I'm like, yeah, but I mean, the dog's breaking from position.
Right.
Is that it starts to lead to more kind of liberties with other commands.
Okay.
So like, let's say you told him to like go to his bed and not move, for example, okay? And you've been letting things slide on the heel.
Yeah.
So then like, and maybe you need him to not move, like you really need him, like, hey buddy, go to your bed and I really need you not move today, like it's serious, right? And then he's like, yeah, but when I'm in heel, like I can stop the sniff whenever I want, and I can like pee on stuff whenever I want, so why can't I just get up whenever I want?
Yeah.
It starts to leak into other areas. So what I always recommend to people is if he's in the heel, like reinforcing it to the degree it's meant to be reinforced, especially if you want off-leash level stuff.
Yeah.
Because that's where it really matters. And if you want him to like smell and stuff, then I would just stop and say, break. And then at that moment, it's a leisurely stroll. And it doesn't matter anymore because I've like said, like, now you're done. Now you can, do your doggy thing.
So if I were to, so when he's in heel,
Mm-hmm.
and then if I were to just say break and just kind of let him walk,
Mm-hmm.
but like I'm still on the leash
Mm-hmm.
and like walking with him, is that okay? Because he's not in heel?
Yep.
Okay.
So you would just want to make sure that when you do that, when you go, heel, stop, he sits, lucky, break, then you continue your walking, right? Because now you've created a clear distinction between working to not working, okay? And he will differ, even though like you said, like he's on a leash, like we're walking together, like how does he know when he can be loose walking and when he has to be tight walking? And it's that word heel and break. Okay, heel means tight walk, no sniffing, no peeing, no pooping, you're at my hip. Break means I don't care what you do, have a good time, right? What becomes a problem is when people are in the heel and like, let's say they walk past like, some bushes and the dog stops to smell the bushes in the heel, and the owner either stops to let the dog do it or keeps walking but lets the dog do it. Yeah. Then the dog learns, during the heel command, I can actually do what I want without permission, and it'll go uncorrected. Okay. That's where the problems happen. Okay, so.
And that's what I'm doing. So.
Yeah, just to make that clear to you. Now, at the end of the day, I really don't care how you walk him. He's your dog. But if you're pushing for off-leash reliability for anything, I always stress that black and white approach, because the last thing you want is gray area to happen in the middle of a recall or something, right? Where he's like, oh, Dad called me, but I really want to chase the squirrel and run towards the street. Like, you really need instant response. Come back over here. And that's how all these things kind of overlap, is if there's any leniency in the other commands, it starts to affect the other, in one command, it starts to affect the other commands. Okay. So, okay. Anything else?
No, I mean, there was one time where I was trying to work on recall, and he was kind of far away, and I was walking away a way that I always walk, and so I thought he knew where I was coming or where I was going, and I called him and he didn't come, but I think he got confused because he started going like a different way, and so I kind of had to like, hey, I'm over here, but he figured it out.
Yeah. So in the beginning, even if it's something that's familiar to the dog, I always do that long leash.
Yeah.
Because stuff like that happens.
Yeah.
Especially when you have tons of success.
Yeah.
Like I get clients where like the recall is super smooth, right? They're like, oh, this is amazing. And I'm like, I hate it when that happens because it doesn't allow us to work with those problem areas.
Yeah.
So that's why I have exercises where I'm like, we're forcing these mistakes because it's going to happen sooner or later. Even if the dog does 100 perfect recalls and the 101st one sucks, that's where you're going to have a problem. So, all right, anything else?
No.
Okay, so you've been working on the heel, kind of, and the recall stuff, right?
Recall, yeah.
Okay, so let's go ahead and pop him on his leash here. And is he being pretty good about just wandering off, and when you cue him to break, like to do his own thing?
So that's kind of why I started giving him more freedom.
Okay.
Because I would give him like a release, especially to go to the bathroom. Like there was a spot to go to the bathroom and kind of sniff around, and he wouldn't really do anything. He would maybe venture a little bit, but then he would kind of start to be like, oh, I'm supposed to be close.
Sure.
So yes and no. There's usually like a squirrel by the dog park, so I've done a little stuff over there.
Okay.
But again, it's just kind of hard to get those scenarios right where you have like a lot going on.
Yeah. That's why recall again takes the longest to teach, because it's either you have to go somewhere to practice, or if you go to practice, do you have distractions to actually work with to build a reliable recall?
Yeah.
Okay. So that's fine. So if you released him right now and let him, do you think he'd end up wandering away from you?
Right now, probably not. Let's see. Release. Lucky, go ahead.
Try. So when you release him here, go ahead and get the end of your leash, and give him that slack, and just wander with him. And when you do this exercise, I would refrain from walking from him beside him, because then he's gonna start healing. Okay. And then what I'll do is I'll walk away backwards or something, or walk with him at my right side so that he doesn't fall into the healing pattern. And then I'd walk past trees to see if he'll catch a scent or something to distract him.
So release. Lucky.
Right?
Go ahead.
And then go ahead and just start to wander. And then you'll walk, and he's following you now, right? And then try walking toward for instance that tree right there.
Okay.
To see if he'll just go and get distracted by it.
Yeah, he knows the leash is hard. He knows what's going on.
Right? He's got a good long leash heel.
So even though I usually use release or go ahead.
Sure.
Because I said it earlier, even though he's close to me, I can still send him because like he's not technically in a heel?
Right, he's defaulting.
Okay.
Right, so like technically if you're walking right now and he starts to like default heel, there doesn't need to be a release because like you said, you released him earlier.
Okay.
But it's been drilled so much that he's thinking like, this is what we do, okay? So this is where like I walk with the dog. Like Oz Park is nice because it's so spacious, where you could say, like let's say you're here by yourself to work with them, you would release him and you would just walk, but he would most likely default heel, right?
Okay.
But then I just keep walking. I ignore him. I don't even say release again or whatever. And I just intentionally walk past squirrels and rabbits and flowers and trees to see if he'll get incentivized to leave my side. Because you might find yourself walking for like 20 minutes before he decides to break away. And that's just part of the process. It sucks in the sense that it makes it harder for you to practice, but it's good in the sense as that's what prevents dogs from like running off in the first place.
Yeah, so at like Millennium Park, they'll eventually pick up more scents and stuff because there's a lot of geese over there. But the problem with working over there is there's a lot of geese poop.
Oh, sure. Is he one to eat goose poop?
He likes to roll in it.
Oh, okay. And like even this too, like where you throw that stick for a fetch,
Yeah.
it's just getting him used to like when you hear the word release, like you can get away from me.
Okay.
Okay. So try throwing the stick a couple of times and then going for a little like just walking to see if he'll wander a bit more.
Okay. Because like yeah, usually he likes sticks. He'll start chewing them.
Good boy. Yeah, just like sneak away, wander away. And what you can even do too is like when you're doing a heel with him, is have a ball or a stick, and when you release him, throw it. To create that impulsiveness of when you hear release, it means like you're good. You can like just break away. Okay. Did we go over the stay command at all?
No.
No? Okay.
But I use it a little bit, right? So when we go to the dog park, there's a area in between. I'll put them in sit, stay. Yeah.
Okay. Is that the only place you use it, or do you use it in other areas?
That's pretty much the only area I use it because he really wants to go to the dog park, right?
Okay.
And so I want him to kind of relax, and I figure that would help. I'll use a wait command
Sure.
when we come up to like stairs or something like that. But yeah, that's pretty much the only place I use it.
How does he do with the stay at the dog park?
It needs work. So, my problem is that I rush it, right? Because once he's in the stay and other dogs start coming to the gate, I don't want that, so I'll he knows that I don't keep him in it very long.
Okay.
And so he will break a little early.
Okay. How did you teach it?
We just came in, I put him in sit, stay, and then if he got out of it, I would give him like an op or something like that.
Okay, so you haven't put remote with it?
Maybe a little bit. If he broke out of it, I haven't taught that much.
Okay, so let's go ahead and do this. So for the recall stuff, what I would do is focus on getting him more comfortable with leaving your side and continue practicing it. And then we'll work on the stay today to give you something new to work on,
Okay.
the more formal stay. And then you can start applying it there, and I'll give you some scenarios you can apply it elsewhere as well. So we can switch his orange leash back to his red leash here.
Okay.
They still have some
right, so I'm gonna explain this to you, and then I'll walk you through it. So here, for the stay command, I use stay differently than I think most people and trainers do.
Okay.
So like when I say sit, down, or place, I don't say stay. Okay,
yeah.
Stay is implied. Now, if you end up saying stay like after this, whatever, it's not the end of the world. That's just my style of training. Is if I say sit, it means put your butt down, don't move. If I say down, it means lay down, don't move. If I say go to your bed, it means go there, don't move. Okay, so it's all implied. The only time I use stay is when the dog's already in position, either because of a command or on his own accord. Right? So like let's say Lucky knows place, and he goes and lays in his dog bed on his own. That's his decision. You could remove him and say place to send him if you wanted him to not move there. I'm sorry, you have to go there and not move. Or I would say stay. Now it becomes a command. Does that make sense?
Yeah. So since I put him in a sit, I would not say stay.
Technically correct.
But if I were to enter into a sit automatically, would I tell him stay then?
Correct, right? Because he chose the sit. So then you're saying, okay, now I need you to not move, okay? So I teach to stay initially during the heel command because it's easiest. So heel, walk with me, stay with me, sit when I stop, right? So if Lucky sits, if you were to move, what is he gonna do most likely? Yeah, he's gonna follow you, right? So I use the stay during the heel command to help him distinguish between moving and not moving, okay? So it's gonna be a super simple exercise. You're gonna cue the word heel. You're gonna walk for a little bit, you're gonna come to a stop. Lucky's gonna automatically sit. You're gonna take your left hand, stay, just like wave it over him, okay? And don't worry about if he sees it or not. So he could be looking this way, stay, that's fine, okay? So I go stay, and then I shorten my leash in case he gets up, because I'm gonna pull up and tap to correct him, and I'm gonna pivot out in front of Lucky with my right leg, okay? So it's stay, shorten the leash, pivot out, one big swoop. Now I'm facing Lucky, okay? If he gets up, I pull up and tap until he goes back into the sitting position. Then I relax, and I move back into a side like that. Good boy, back into the heel, okay? So what we're doing here is we're just teaching him that when I say stay, it means keep your butt still, okay? Now, as you're moving out, should Lucky get up, you would freeze what you're doing, up and away from you, tap to reposition him into the sitting position. Doesn't need to be perfect. Once he puts his butt down, I then continue with the movement in front of him, then come back to his side, good boy, heel.
So if I correct him, do I wave again?
No. Yeah, so once you've cued it, you don't need to repeat the command. We simply continue with the movement. Okay? So I'm gonna have you first, you're gonna put Lucky in the heel, you're gonna walk around for a little bit, come to a stop, and then I'll help coach you through the exercise. Right, now here, left hand wave, stay.
Stay.
And you're gonna pivot out. So turn so you're more next to him like this. That's better. Now you're gonna pivot out with that right leg, one big step to be in front of him. Yep. Now bring back your left leg. Like that, good. You're gonna wait a moment. Back to his side. Right, yep. And then praise. And we're gonna repeat that 4 more times. Yeah. Yeah, right, good. Good. Praise. 3 more. Right, good correction, good correction.
Stay.
Right. Good. 2 more. Good. 1 more. Good crossover.
Stay.
Yeah, there you go. That's fine. Good. Now continue moving in front of him. There you go, like that. That was good. That was a good one. Now back to the side. Good, and praise. Excellent. So now what we're gonna do is, once you complete that pivot out and you're in front of Lucky, is you're gonna do a half moon walk around the front half of Lucky, and you're gonna keep your hand up as you're doing so, like this, just in case he gets up, so you can pull up when you tap to correct him, okay? What we're trying to do here when we do the pull up is, because he's done recall and heel, for the dog's tap means come to you.
Yeah.
Exactly. So we wanna, if I tap Lucky to put his butt down, but he comes to me, he doesn't understand that concept.
Okay.
So then when I shorten the leash and I'm walking like this of him, because in case he gets up, I want to be able to up and tap and sit him away from me. And like you even see sometimes a dog will like start to charge towards you because they're thinking that's what you're supposed to do. And that's where I just choke up on the leash until they put their butt down, and then I relax and then praise them so they learn like, oh, I'm not supposed to move to you, I'm supposed to just pull my butt back down.
Okay.
Okay? So go ahead and pop him in the heel.
Heel.
Good.
Stay.
Up tap. There you go. Up away from you. Tap. Right. Wait a moment. That's way up, and that's fine. Good. Up. Right. Relax. Now step so that you're more in front of him. Good. So that's what I was talking about. Right. See how he kept trying to go towards you, and then he got confused and move away. That's all fine. So until he resolves that problem, you keep that upwards tension. Okay. So that now he's learned, oh, if I put my butt back down, everything goes away. And now, as you're gonna walk around the front half of Lucky, just being prepared to pull up and tap. Yep, up, tap, tap. Now wait a moment. Relax, good. Position so that you're in front of him. Now here we're gonna correct this, you're gonna lightly up. And what's his number right now?
32.
Let's go down to 24. And up tap, tap, there you go, and relax, good, up tap, now relax, good, wait a moment, up tap, right, wait a, yep, now back away, up, up tap, there you go, right there, now take a step back, there you go, good, because we're trying to create that distance, okay, now try to walk in front of him again. Yeah, he's still in the stay. You don't need to repeat. That's good. Up tap, 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 tap. Yep, choke up on it. That was good. Now, yep, now back away. Keep your leash like that. Now up tap to correct them into a sitting position. Tap, tap, tap. There you go, right? Now relax, now pivot in front of him. There you go, good. Now try another little walk around there. Up tap, 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 tap. Tap. Good. You went to 24, right?
Yeah.
Let's go 28. And pivot in front of him. There you go. Good. And you're going to try that walk around again. Up, tap. Tap. That was better because that was faster.
Okay.
Now here what I would do is, because he keeps charging towards you, right, is I would choke up a bit more to give yourself more leverage, because every time you start moving is when he has a problem.
Okay.
Okay? So try to pivot, to walk around again. Up, tap. 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 Good. Now we're, yep, tap. There you go, almost. There you go, better. Okay. Now try to walk around again. Right, good. Tap, tap, tap. Right, it's okay. Tap. Okay, now pivot in front. And then try to move around again. Tap, tap, tap. Good. Try again. Yep.
Should I pop it
Correct
up?
that. Yep. Tap, tap. Good. Go ahead and bump him to 32 again. Tap, 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 tap. Good. Tap, tap. Right, and then pivot. Good. And try to walk around again. Tap. Right, good, almost. Want me to try?
Yeah. Yeah. I feel like
He's being a little stubborn.
I'm like exhausted. It's a
He's
workout.
yeah, he's got leverage because he's so low. So knowing that, what we're gonna do is the higher you are on the leash, the more leverage you have. Okay? Stay. 32. Tap, 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 tap. 37. Tap. Tap, tap. Tap, 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 tap. Tap, 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 tap. 45. Tap, 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 tap. Tap, tap. Tap, 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 tap. Tap, tap, tap. 52. Tap, 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 tap. 70. Tap. Tap, tap, tap. Good. Stay. Tap, tap, tap. 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 Tap, tap. Tap, tap, tap. Tap. Good. Tap. Stay. Tap, tap. You got full power there, so you go down, go down to 60. Tap. 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 Heel. Back to 70. Yeah. Stay. Tap, tap, tap. 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 Tap, tap, tap. Tap, tap, tap. Tap, tap. Tap, 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 tap. Heel. One more. Stay. Like the front part is easier. But then if I go full circle, there we go. That was better. Yeah. Yeah. So it's just not enough power. That's good. A little tank.
Yeah. So, will this confuse him at all if I'm going to be like this and recall?
Yes and no.
Okay.
Because of how you're moving.
Okay.
Because in a recall, you're moving backwards.
Okay.
Right? And here, he's going to be at your side when you issue that stay. So dogs interpret the remote depending on what life looks like within that moment. So like when you're in a heel, for Lucky, the world looks a very specific way because he's walking and you're here.
Yeah.
Right? So that's heel. Recall is Lucky is over here and you're over there and you're calling him and you're moving backwards. So that means this, right? And then so when you do that stay, that's why we're doing that right leg, because heel is left leg, okay? So in the beginning, because you know, like, because you're thinking, because when you're tapping him, he's moving to you,
Yeah.
right? And we're trying to teach him, no, like tapping means move to keep where you're at. So it won't affect the recall. Like your recall is going to be just fine. Right where we get more confusion is like if I teach a dog how to do it like an emergency down, which is a down while they're in motion. If I do downs during like during the recalls, sometimes you'll see the dogs prematurely down when they get tapped, when really I want the dog to run faster. So stuff like that happens, but we just keep practicing and eventually the dog gets over it. Because he has to learn how to clarify between each command. Okay? Other questions?
No, I don't think so.
Okay, so go ahead, try it again.
I'm gonna.
You're gonna put him in a heel, and then you're gonna do the stay. Good. Good. Again, you're gonna keep it at a half moon for now. Tap, tap, right? Then it's just back to in front of him. Yep. And then the half moon. Good. And back to his side. Better. Good boy. And heel.
Stay.
There you go. Right, good, good one. Back to his side. Good. Praise, attaboy, good job. Try 2 more.
Heel.
Good.
Stay.
Good.
Trying to go all the way.
Keep it at a half moon. We're gonna do one more like that, then we're gonna start doing the full circles.
Heel. Stay.
Good.
Back.
Excellent. So now you'll do the heels and then the stays and then the full circle. Now, dogs will sometimes swivel. He did it a little bit with me when I would walk behind him, how he would like turn his head. So if he stays on his butt and he does like this, that's okay. Because it's technically still sitting, right? But if he picks up his butt or lays down, stands up, that you would correct, okay? The swiveling will go away on its own.
Okay.
Once he realizes that you're just walking in a circle around him, the swiveling goes away, okay?
Heel. Stay.
Right, good. That's technically okay. Yep, good. We'll try 4 more.
Heel. Stay.
Good. Good, that was a good one. 3 more. Good crossover.
Stay. Heel.
Good, 1 more. good. So, in the beginning, the biggest problem was just the number,
Okay.
right? It wasn't enough to like get him to think to himself like, what do I need to do to stop this? He just kept shooting for you because that's all he knew,
Yeah.
right? So then at the dog park, if you're struggling with that stay at the gate, that's probably why.
Okay.
You know, if you're applying the number or applying the remote, it's most likely the number's too low. So now we're gonna do the same exercise, except so you're gonna do your stay, you're gonna pivot out, you're gonna do your walk around. You're gonna come back, you're gonna praise him, then you're gonna get up and you're gonna step out again. Okay? You're not gonna say stay because stay is in effect until you either tell him break or heel or whatever other command. So when you step out, he shouldn't move, but because you praised him, he might.
He's probably gonna move.
Yeah. Okay.
He's gonna move. Heel. Oh, that's bad. Stay.
Good. Right. Good. Good. Now, we're going to repeat that a few more times, but now when you walk around, I'm going to have you do so more normally.
Okay.
Okay?
So heel out.
Yes.
Heel. I know it's. Like,
Yeah, it's okay in the beginning, right? But now he's got a pretty good concept where you can start to like normalize things a bit.
stay.
Right? That's okay. That's okay. Very good. Try 3 more.
Heel. Stay.
Good. Actually, I'm going to try 1 more.
Stay.
Very good. So now, we're going to switch back to the long leash.
Okay. Release. Go ahead. Go ahead, Luck. Go ahead.
Switch that red one to this orange one. And you're going to do a long leash heel, and you're going to do the stays. When you start off with the stays in the beginning, I'm going to have you hold it higher up like you are right there.
Yeah.
And then you're going to work your way out.
Okay.
Okay?
Heel.
Right, so do a quick little like walk around, keeping it at that distance to warm him up. And then here you'll start to back out on that line, and you'll go about maybe 3 to 5 feet away from him. Yeah, like that. And then start to circle around. Good. Then you come back to him. Go in and praise him, attaboy. And then try stepping out again. He should stay put. And then you start to walk around, yep. Good. And then you can even try this, I guess for this run, do the heel, let the leash drag, and just walk around, come to a stop, go into the stay, and then pivot out again. Okay, but you'll let the leash drag. Good crossover. Good.
Stay.
Good. Tap forward. There you go. Keep walking. You got it. Good. Yeah, that's good. Good. A little distraction there. Good. Now here, I'm going to have you come next to the side. You're going to say heel, and you're going to step out with that left leg, and then you're going to immediately pivot back. Okay?
Heel.
Yep, like that. Perfect. Tap. There you go. Good. Good. And go in and walk like right there. Perfect. You're gonna hold that right there. Cool. All right, so came a long way from where we started.
Yeah.
And the main thing was just the number.
Yeah.
Okay. So have you noticed the difference on the 70? Like what else it impacted? Aside from the stay?
Well, like when we heal, he's getting there.
Yeah, he's right on you.
Yeah.
Okay. Because you found a number that he doesn't want to question.
Yeah.
Okay. So now you have 3 commands. You have heal, stay, and recall. Okay. Is you can start changing the and we did a little bit of this last time with like the long leash heel, right?
Yeah.
Like just not always doing recall to recall. You can do a recall into a heel. Now you can do a recall into a stay, back into a heel, or a recall into a heel into a stay, right? You can start to like blend these things and put them in different places to help them distinguish what each word means.
Okay.
I suggest that you do not do a recall from a stay. Okay?
Okay.
Because that's a very common thing.
Yeah.
Very common thing people do is they'll stay and they'll do the recall.
Yeah, I think that's how I was taught it.
Yes. And the reason why I don't do that is because it's not realistic. Right? I'm all about use your squirrels, use the rabbits, use other dogs. Like, use your environment to do your recalls. Because when people call their dog, they're usually chasing something, running away, or running towards something they shouldn't. And it's almost always running and almost always away. Right?
Yeah.
So here, he's not going to be sitting waiting for you in the middle of like, you know, an emergency, going like, hey dad, go and call me now, right? So The other reason why I don't do the recall from the stay is it creates a problem. And that problem is he's going to think you're going to call him and prematurely run to you, which then negates the stay. Okay? So if all you have, because I get some clients whose dogs are like so paranoid they won't leave them, and they don't have anybody to help them do like a disconnect to do the recalls, is I'll tell them you can do the recall from the stay. It's not my favorite, but if that's all you have, that's fine. But most people will do the stay, and when they walk away, they always do the recall on the first one.
Okay.
So then the dog learns every time you walk 20 feet away and you turn around, you call him. So then by the time you hit 20 feet away, the dog's already running to you because they know you're going to call him.
Right.
Okay. So what I do is I do that stay, I walk out and I stop, then I'll move again, then I'll move again, you know, and I keep moving and stopping and looking at him, and then randomly, up he comes. And then I go into the recall, right? So I might do it on the first time, I might do it on the 10th time, the third time, the 6th time. I'm randomizing when I'm actually gonna call him during that stage, so he learns to wait for the cue and not predict when it is I'm gonna call him.
Yeah, and that's my problem with the dog park, is he's already predicted that, you know, it's very quick.
Sure. Sure. Yeah. So, questions on the stay?
No, I don't think so.
So
can I put him in it? I guess I could, around distractions, right?
Yeah. So like,
okay.
let's say at the dog park, like you can heal him. You could be at the dog park and heal him walking through dogs.
Yeah.
It's just whether or not it isn't important enough for him to do it.
Right.
So it always comes down to, okay? So when it comes to applying the stay, what I suggest in the beginning is, you know, if you're doing your long leash recall stuff, you can, you know, practice all this stuff as well.
Yeah.
When you're on your walks, if you hit like a red light, you can do a stay, just practice at the red light.
Okay.
After he poops, like one of the things that most of my clients say is when their dog poops, the dog will be pulling them, and they're trying to pick up the poop.
Yeah. Okay.
So then I'll up and tap them into the position to give them the stay, and then pick up everything. Or like, let's say I'm gonna throw something away, I'll do a stay, step out, throw it away, still on the leash of course, back, heel, now we're going. Okay. People use it a lot for pictures.
Yeah.
You know, like little city background pictures or whatever. So, for this week, your homework, start blending these things. Okay? Your obedience, of course, is only as good as the environment you practice in, so it's always the same environment. You'll be great there, but then if you go somewhere else new, probably not going to be the greatest. Play with that number a bit, because 70 not only worked for the stay, but also like improve everything else as well. Okay, and that's pretty common. So it shouldn't feel like an argument. So let's say you try to work with him later tonight, and he's just like doing what he did earlier, and he's just like running to you, and you're at 35. You can use 70 as a reference point.
Yeah.
I'm not saying jump to 70,
Right.
but just think to yourself, well, Jesse was at 70 earlier, so chances are I'm going to have to go higher.
Yeah.
Okay. Other questions?
I don't think so. No, I think like when we're at home, he has a lot of energy, and he knows he's going out at like in the morning and noon, and he gets like a little premature there. So like if he knows he's going out at 5, he like moves it up like every day to like 4:45, 4:30. You know, I don't know if there's anything I can do there to.
Like, was he like barking at you?
He'll come to me, and he'll be at my computer. He'll get his legs up on there and jump on me. So I just tap him then, or
you could ignore him and just wait till the designated time.
Yeah.
Or lastly, if I'm gonna correct him, I would probably just use a bonker. Can we talk about the bonker?
No.
It's just a rolled up towel,
Okay.
and you use like a rubber band or hair bands to keep its shape,
Yeah.
and then you use it to whack the dog. Okay. Because so
he's not, because he doesn't have his collar on. Like,
and I have 3 videos that I can send you.
Okay.
How to make one, how to use one, and one of a trainer actively using one, so you can see exactly just how the correction works. Because people, when they do corrections themselves, tend to be too soft.
Yeah.
And that's why the e-collar is so effective, because there's a disconnect.
Yeah.
Like, you know you're at 70, but you're not like giving off any intensity, right? The button does that for you, and that's where people start to have problems. The positive to it is with e-collar, there's no confrontation, right? The dog doesn't know where it's coming from, which is a positive, but it's also a negative because, like, let's say with something like that, if I get a dog that's demanding something of me, you want confrontation there because you want the dog to understand that you yourself are disagreeing with the behavior.
Yeah.
So that's where other things like the bonker come into play because it's a correction, but it's also a personal correction. And then Lucky learns, like, all right, I go by Dad's schedule.
Yeah.
Dad doesn't go by my schedule.
Yeah, and I should probably just never give him any attention to that because then I'll just.
Yeah, I mean, because like if he brings you a ball and you throw it, like he's learning. If I give you something, you'll do that for me. Yeah. I don't care if you like play fetch with them. I just care if you do it on your own time, because dogs can like have no off switch.
Yeah.
And like I had a guy that used to throw for his chocolate lab a ball down the hallway for like an hour, and then he put the ball up, and the dog would just be jumping and barking at the shelf because he knew the ball was there until the owner would play some more with them.
Okay.
So he created that constant problem.
Yeah.
So ignoring them, but then if ignoring them doesn't correct the issue, then you have to correct it yourself.
Yeah, because I've tried to ignore him and it doesn't.
Yeah.
He just gets more persistent.
Sure. So other questions?
And then if we're at the park, he's demanding, so he'll definitely steal other dogs' balls and stuff. In that scenario, I'll take it away from him. What should I do there to be like, here's your ball back, you can't chase?
Oh, sure. The moment, do you want him to have any of the balls?
I do. So that's where I'm confused because I want him to be able to chase balls that I throw, but like I don't want him to steal somebody else's ball, so I'll take it from him, and then I have to give them their ball back.
Sure.
So he doesn't grab
What I would do, are you bringing your own ball or is there like community balls?
both.
Okay.
So the problem has been happening with the community balls because I lost my balls.
Okay, sure. So what I would do is whenever you see Lucky with the intention of getting a community ball that's without your permission, you remote him proactively.
Okay.
So the moment he sees it and goes for it, if it's not his ball, you remote him. Okay. And you might be at like the 50s to 70s range, just so you know. And then you pick a ball, you show it to him, and you say break, and you throw it. Okay. He goes for it, we do nothing, right? Because that's the ball that you pick.
Right.
Now, what you might see though is if you've corrected him for other balls, you're gonna see a dip in play. Okay, it's normal. Then I ignore him, finish off the rest of the playtime. We try again tomorrow, and then we repeat until he learns like, oh, okay, like I can't have any ball, but if you are in possession of a ball, I can interact with that one. Okay, but it's gonna be a dip. So when you said earlier you were maybe too strict, and you start to see his play drive dip down, that's normal. Okay, and then as he starts to like come back to normalcy, then I just like nitpick at little things I don't like. But the dip in play drive is very common. Okay. Because nobody likes rules when they're having fun.
Right.
Other?
No, I think that's it.
Good. So he's doing good. The biggest thing here is just number.
Yeah.
Okay. So you have your homework for the week.